Sufism is a mystical form of Islam practiced by millions of Muslims around the world, known as tasawwuf in the Muslim world. Followers of Sufism believe that they can become closer to God through inner purification and introspection. They do this by meditating and receiving guidance from the spiritual leaders or murshids. Adherents of Sufism follows five pillars of Islam, which is profession of faith known as Shahada, practicing prayer known as Salat, giving alms Zakat, practicing Swam, which is fasting, and practicing pilgrimage, which is known as Hajj. There are no characteristics or beliefs which are characteristics of Sufis. They are diverse. The next slide talks about Shams of Tabriz. Shams of Tabriz or Shams Tabriz is the guide of the most famous poet, Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi. Shams was a poet, a Sufi, a mystic, a theologian who traveled throughout the Middle East praying and in search of someone who could endure and bear up his company. And that someone was none other than Rumi. Rumi was a preacher turned poet. He wrote mystic and love poems. Sometimes his poems were considered as quick, joyful, whimsical, and sometimes they are abstract and full of grief and loneliness. Talking about Samas, entranced by a 700-year ritual, the dervishes perform a Sufi dance steered by rhythmical breathing and chants of Allah, and they seek to become one with God, their hand pointing towards the sky representing the connection with God and receiving blessings from God, and the hand pointing downward represents passing of the divine knowledge from God to people. Their white robe rises and falls in unison, spinning faster and faster. Here we can see a visual representation of Sama. So now the question is, how can Sama be compared to our own life? So there are four phases in every human's life. So the phase one talks about birth. We humans possess great power within ourselves. It is said we are the creators of our own destiny. We are a blessing from God, sent to earth for a specific purpose. The right hand of a Sufi, while performing Sama, is raised towards the heaven to receive blessing from God, and thus we are the blessing. The second phase is childhood, a phase cherished by all is childhood. It is a time where all sweet memories are made. We get or make friends for life, a time where there is nothing to be worried about. This is a phase which is like an unfolding to the future. It is just like the robe of a Sufi who is spinning to the tune of a reed or a flute. The rope starts spinning slowly, just like many things a toddler starts to do, like learning alphabets or learning how to walk or learning numbers. The third phase is adulthood. It is a phase which is characterized by responsibilities, maturities, and a phase uh, in which we are told to be responsible, and we are you know like we are told to choose or get to the right paths, because that will determine our life ahead. And it is just like a roller coaster, and we can compare it to a dervish who is finding a path to connect with God. We are also a wandering dervish trying to find our own life path, which would give us a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. Just like a whirling dervishes perform sama, the Sufi rope rise and falls in unison and in rhythmic pattern, and so is with adulthood. So the last of all stages is old age and death. Old age is a phase where we can look back to our lives and reflect all our happenings and all our happy memories of and everything that we've achieved so far. This phase is similar when a Sufi stops whirling and a rope also stops spinning at a slow rate. Death is inevitable, no one can escape it. It is a hard and a sad reality of life. So, just like a dervish's left hand is pointed towards the ground, eventually, even we go to the ground. So, now the main question here arises, is our life only about going through these four phases and only doing enough to survive or to sustain ourselves? The answer is definitely no. Abraham Maslow, who is the father of humanistic perspective of psychology, gave the hierarchy of needs. According to him, human beings have the potentiality to grow, understand, to change the world around them, and most importantly, to self-actualize and to reach our highest potential. According to him, when we stick to our basic survival needs, we are reduced to the level of animals. As stated before, we have immense power within ourselves. As Idris Shah also says, deep in the sea are riches beyond compare, but if you seek safety, it is on the shore. Just like a dervish who has to find a path connecting to God, we should also have a definite purpose in a life. When people talk about finding their own purpose in life, a lot of them have ideas about their actual life purposes. However, they don't know how to implement it or how to act upon it. There are others who may make long lists of their passions, but they are unaware on how to squeeze them. Lastly, there are also people who often question themselves, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? So, when it comes to finding your own purpose and passion, or even to reach your greater potentialities, you will have to realize and accept the fact that facing challenges is the part and parcel of this process. And facing fear is one of them. When Shams was told about Rumi to be his companion, he thought that Rumi would definitely make a great companion. But Shams was also warned about challenges and the fact that if he chooses to go on this path, if he takes this road, he will never be able to make it written. He will never be able to return or make it alive, and yet he chose that path. The next element talks about patience. You cannot finding your path and purpose in life. You can only cultivate it. Just it is just like watering a flower and just growing a plant to grow. You must have patience. And as one of the rule of Shams says, particularly rule 8, practice is not sitting and waiting, it is foreseeing. It is looking at the night and seeing the day. Lovers are patient and know that the moon must have enough time to become full. The next element talks about trust. One should always trust the right people. Always remember that to trust the right people, because right people will definitely come into your life and will make your path and your purpose a definite goal for you to achieve. So, in a nutshell, finding your path in life is simply done by following your heart and intuition. The external world is driven by suit or mind. When finding your path, always use your heart. And that is what Sufism is all about. Have trust and faith in life. There are people who are successful, but they might not be happy and they may burn inside. You want a life which is true to your own self, and that is to find your way, the way of your heart. All you have to do is to love and listen. And as one of the rules says, east, west, south, or north makes little difference. No matter what your destination, make every journey a journey within. If you travel within, you will travel world and beyond. Thank you. And I would like to also express my gratitude to Blend Talks Genix for giving me such a great opportunity to express myself.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Vidarshna. I believe it is important to find a goal, and I hope all of us will somehow find a purpose while facing our fears after your presentation.